Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. The global markets are in a sideways zone as we have overhang of the fiscal cliff. Also important decisions with respect to the appointment of banking supervisor has not been taken by the Eurozone. Those markets are also not showing much of a movement. And when we look at the Asian markets, most of them are soft and an important data came out from Australia today and the Q3 GDP grew by almost 0.8%. In terms of flows, friends, FIs were net buyers to the tune of about 540 crore in cash market yesterday, and the domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of 448 crore. Our markets have also been consolidating for the past couple of days as the market is watching for the development on this voting in Parliament, which is going to take place today on the retail FDI in multi-brand retail. There are expectations that the SP and BSP both could abstain from voting, and that could help the government sail through this particular bill in Lok Sabha. But in Rajya Sabha, again, there is not much of clarity about what can really happen. But the market would continue to remain on edge because of this uncertainty. But we are seeing a lot of action in the stock-specific names, like for example, JP Associates and JP Power were in action on the back of some kind of an announcement by the management that they are working at ways to increase the shareholder value by divesting the cement unit, and a few other things are likely to happen. Also, Tata Power was in action, and certain banking stocks continue to remain in the buying mode, particularly ICICI Bank, Yes Bank, IndusInd Bank, and even some of the PSU banks which were laggards for the past few days. We saw a good amount of action in stocks like State Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, and few other PSU names. So overall, market strength is pretty much visible. The momentum in the mid caps is pretty much visible. The only thing is that once you see consolidation, and depending upon the outcome of this meet, the market could actually take its future course of action. On that note, let's take us through important F&O cues, ideas and strategies that we could look at in the F&O markets.
Good morning friends, let's have a view at derivatives. Friend, from past couple of trading session we have seen that after a rally market has taken a pause and has been trading in a range because we have a domestic event lined up with regards to FDI and retail. In yesterday's trade we have seen that the FIs were around FIs was net sellers of around 1800 crore, but what we have seen in yesterday's trade is marginal short positions have been accumulated in yesterday's trade. Now the PCR ratio has further declined towards 1.07 from 1.10. Now talking about the implied volatility, we have seen a further uptick in the implied volatility, say by around 50 to 110 basis points, which has been clearly indicating that ahead of an event market would continue to remain uncertain. On the options front, we have not seen a drastic change in the activity, but yes, the position is still intact because we have event lined up, so market is in wait and watch mood. As I've said that as today FDI and retail voting would take place in Parliament, so that would be the key event which market would be watching for. So we expect that on intraday basis market would continue to remain uncertain and volatile. From intraday perspective, we have recommended 3 stocks. ABB is looking positive. We have given 4-star rating to it, and the support which one can maintain is 716.95. Kane India is also looking positive, so one can maintain a support of 329 rupees 65 paisa, and financial technology is also looking good, so one can maintain a stop loss of 1132. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. On cement companies, our channel checks have shown that the prices have declined by about 10 to 15 rupees per bag over the past 10 days, mainly because of the weak demand and increase in the supply, and this is definitely not a good news for cement companies. So one can expect some pressure on the companies operating in northern and central region, companies like ACC, Ultratech Cement, and few others. So this is something that we'll have to watch out for. In case of Oil India, the government is looking at doing the FPO to the tune of about 10%, and this would happen after January 15, when we'll have to really keep an eye on what kind of pricing are we really looking at for this particular FPO. And there are some positive news for the airline industry, as the aviation minister Ajit Singh has said that there is no move on the part of the government to regulate the airfare, and he is looking for some transparency on this matter. So one can go long on Jet Airways and SpiceJet both from a short-term trading perspective. For Suzlon, there are some positive news as their subsidiary company RE Power has been able to sign a deal with a Munich-based insurer to cover the natural losses and calamities related issues, and this will be first in a kind of a deal that they will be entering into. Apart from that, we have seen that the Suzlon has actually gone in for debt restructuring, and we are seeing some positive action there. So one can really go long on Suzlon with a stop loss of 18.60 and a target of about 19.75 to 20. In case of Fortis Healthcare, there are developments that they have entered into some kind of a strategic tie-up with a Dubai-based healthcare firm, wherein they are going to operate and manage their outfits in the Middle East, and they have some major expansion plans there. So one can go long on Fortis with a stop loss of 111 and a target of about 116 to 119. Coal India, there are reports that like any other bidder, the new coal mines would be allotted to them based on a certain reserve price, and they will have to compete with most of the other companies, which is definitely a bit of a negative for Coal India, because so far they were given the coal blocks at a very low price. So now that this is going to happen, this could be a bit negative for Coal India. One can go short there with a stop loss of 370 and a target of about 352 to 345. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a nice trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.